Well, hey, friends, welcome back to the podcast. I'm really glad that you're here today with me, hanging out wherever you are, listening in your car while you're at the gym or out on a walk. I get so much feedback from all of you every week. It seems like someone's reaching out saying, I love the podcast and I listen every time I blank. And it's a great way to be able to kind of keep yourself motivated. Don't you find that, running a business, seeing patients, doing all the things, managing staff, maintaining a home life, taking care of yourself, all that stuff just takes time, and just taking yourself as a full-time job. I feel like I am my own full-time job, just managing this thing, this human being, food, sleep, self-care, mental state, thoughts, all of that. Sometimes it feels like a lot of work. But whatever you're doing, try and tie your personal development, and I hope this podcast is part of your own personal and business growth and development. Tie it to an activity, and you're much more likely to begin to include that into your daily or weekly routine. So, today I want to talk to you about a few questions that I have been asking myself lately. And a few weeks ago, I kind of shared very honestly and authentically about the business trauma. I met with a friend over coffee a few days ago, and she looked at me and she said, Yeah, you've got some business trauma. I said, Yeah, I kind of do. I got some business trauma for sure. And I'm working through that. I really am. I'm very, very committed to getting through that because I can't be successful as a business owner, leader, friend, wife, clinician, supporter. Like, I can't be successful in those roles if I'm not healthy myself, right? So this has led me to be asking questions about where I am. And there are kind of three questions that I want to share with you today. I want you to ask yourself these as well. And I'm going to give you context around each one of them. But I'm hoping that they're going to kind of cause you to shift and rethink whatever situation that you might be in. My hair's been on fire for about 5 months. Like, flames are burning. It's all burning. Everything's always a crisis and an emergency. And I'm starting to come out of that, which I'm so thankful for. I did finally hire someone. So, yay for that. And so far, so good. She's really doing a great job. And so, we are going to together kind of continue to walk through that process. But oh man, has there been some trauma? So, here's the questions that I have been asking myself. As I've been in the middle of this, and again, in case you don't remember, not only do I do all of the business coaching consulting through like Clinical Business Academy and also CA Clinical Academy, which is where clinicians go if they need help with the actual clinical, practical steps to be able to, figure out how do you fix headaches? What's a thyroid headache, or how do I deal with digestion? What's a protocol? That's Clinical Academy. And then I have Clinical Business Academy, which is business growth for wellness practitioners. So I still do all of that, and that's where my heart and my passion and my love is. I also have another business that's a brick and mortar med spa. And I've not been real open about that, not because I've been trying to hide it, but just because it's such a different industry. It's just such a different model, but the challenges are still the same, meaning that, I still have overhead, I still have staff, I still have inventory I have to hold. So the tenets of business are all still the same. And so as I've been going through this just incredibly intense period of time that has been very stretching for me and difficult, there have been lots of tears, like a lot of tears. And I'm not afraid to cry. I'm not a crier by nature, but I know when I'm crying, we got trouble. I'm going down for the count. There have been a lot of tears in this, but I've asked these three questions to myself as I've been in this. And the first question is this: what is my end goal? What is my goal in this? And I'm not talking about a goal like, I want to make more money. Well, of course we do. Like, that's why we work, right? To get compensated for the work that we do, the knowledge that we have, and the transformation we provide. Absolutely. But more than that, specifically, what is my end goal? Is my end goal just to create more systems in the business and streamline it so that I can sell it? Because the systems can't be the goal. They can't be the goal. It's not a big enough goal. The goal has to be bigger than that. What is my goal? Is my goal to sell it? Is my goal to systematize it and leverage it, marketing, all of that, to the point that I can then hire a manager and then I can step away? Or maybe I stay partially in the business and I use it to generate a second cash flow, revenue generating stream for myself, my family, my retirement. Maybe I want to build this business because I want to invest in real estate. Maybe my goal is to buy one real estate property every year. And that is going to, be able to cash flow for me for my retirement. You see, those are questions that we want to ask. What is your end goal in your business? You have to have something that you're shooting for. You've got to know, why am I doing this? It has to be bigger than I just want to help people, because you're going to burn out, friend. Like, when I just said those words, my heart just got heavy. Like, it just got sad. Like, yes, we want to help people, but it can't stop there. There has to be a bigger why. Why are you doing what you do? Yes, of course, we're helping people. That's what we do. But what is your end goal? What do you want out of the deal? What do you want out of the experience of being a business owner and a practitioner? You got to know that. So I had to get really clear about what my end goal is. And once I knew, then it changed the way that I created the strategy, because you can see that how I develop a business, if my intention is to sell it, is going to be different than how I'm going to grow a business if my intention is to stay in it. Obviously, how I grow the business and keep it, but I want to harvest a lot of cash flow out of it because I want to invest in real estate, then I'm going to create a different model for building the business. They're all different. So ask yourself, really honest, like, what is your end goal? What is the end game? What's the goal for you in your business as a business owner? In 20 years, what do you want? Maybe you are, in your late 50s. You're like, by 10 years, I want to retire. Okay, what's your end goal? So get clear about that. It's really, really important, because whatever your goal is, it's going to have a different strategy. And you have to know that in order to be able to create that strategy and reverse engineer it. The second question is, every business has issues, right? Two issues for you really is time and lack of good help. And as I told you a few weeks ago, well, I've actually had 5 employees leave within 6 months. Now, I could I could take that as being like, "Oh my gosh, I'm such a horrible person. I'm such a terrible leader. What is wrong with me? Why can't I?" But listen, if you can't get along with me, I don't even know anybody I don't get along with. I like to get along with people, and I'm really happy, and I'm fun to be with, and I'm easy to work with. And I mean, we work hard, but I'm not hard. I'm not mean. I'm not unkind. I'm go bend over backwards to try and be very kind. So I know it's not me, but that can be a little hit to your ego, your self-esteem, your self-confidence. And so I've had to really work on, like, recognizing that this is just part of the process. But my question that I've asked myself along this whole way, instead of beating myself up or automatically assuming it's me, I've said, how is this issue, how is this problem serving me? What does this problem make possible for me? How is it serving me? Well, when you're in the middle of it, oh, that is a saucy question, because I don't give a flip about how it's helping me. I just need it to go away. I need the problem to be solved right now. That's my MO. I'm a fast action kind of girl, but I had to just sit with it. And it's like God just let me sit with the problem for a little bit until I could finally get kind of clear about how it's serving me. So again, I told you about my staff turnover. So let me just use this as an example, because it's a fresh example for me. The way that this has really served me is I'm getting really good at interviewing. I'm getting really good at knowing what kinds of questions to ask. I'm getting really good. I've refined my hiring process. And the other thing that I have done that I'm very proud of is I've also been able to refine my onboarding process. I used to kind of just throw the kitchen sink at them and say, "Here you go. Here's all the tools. Here's all the technology. And here are all the videos that help you be able to learn it." And I didn't do that this time. And what I did instead was I said, "Okay, we're going to focus on just a few things in the first week. These are the things that we're going to learn in the first week. And then the second week, we're going to focus on these things." Because I know at the end of the month, it's not going to feel like a fire hose experience for my new staff person. It's going to feel like an ability to just learn and breathe and take it in. Learn, take a breath. It feels overwhelming, but I'm going to learn, I'm going to do, and I'm going to be able to take it in. So that was a great outcome because I am such a fast action person by nature. I'm just that way. And so it forced me to slow down. So that was another way that it served me. It forced me to slow down and to put a plan in place. And inside CBA, we talk about this all the time. Like you have to be able to have material prepared, like training videos and checklists and things that will set your new employee up for success. If they're not set up for success, then they're more likely to walk. And when you just spray them with a fire hose or you just turn the faucet on and say, don't let it flood, answer the phone, talk nice to people who come in the door, and please get everybody scheduled and rescheduled. And I'm going in with a patient. I'll see you in a little while. That's never going to work. So when you're faced with a problem, whether it's employees and hiring or whether it's lack of income or lack of new patients, I should say, what is it teaching you? How is it serving you? What is it forcing you to do? Well, listen, if you don't have enough new people coming in the door, or maybe it's not enough reviews, right? Not enough good reviews, you're going to get really good at figuring that out. That's how that problem is going to serve you. You're going to have to keep facing that issue until you figure it out. So you might as well just figure it out now. Give up, throw up your hands. Let's just figure it out. So I'm happy to help you. That's what we do in CBA. So the third question is, how am I going to show up differently? Because if I continue to show up the same way, chances are I'm going to start getting the same kind of results, right? I mean, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting to get a different result. So who do I need to be that's different? How do I need to show up differently? And here's where I'm going to be really honest with you. I think sometimes my tendency towards being nice and comes from my own kind of trauma, relational trauma in my life. But I think that being nice doesn't always work for me. And it's not that I need to be mean. In fact, at one point, I was so frustrated, I was crying. And I remember saying to my husband, I think I just need to turn into a bitch. Pardon my language. Like, I just need to turn into a mean person. That's what needs to happen. But I can't do that because it's not true to who I am. But I think that it's not helping me always because I want everybody to play nice in the sandbox together. But as a leader, I can be kind, but I have to be clear. And I have to know exactly what I expect. And I have to be clear about that. And then when that doesn't happen, I also have to be able to be clear about the fact that that didn't happen. And this is why that's not going to work. And what are we going to do to make sure that doesn't happen again? Because my nice self just wants to say, well, just don't do that again and we'll be fine. But I realize I need to show up a little differently. So that's how this question has made me kind of rethink how I'm being in my business. It also has helped me be able to recognize that instead of feeling like my hair's on fire all the time, I now am making a choice to get up earlier in the morning. I'm getting up about an hour earlier, and I'm finding that I really enjoy it. I get up about an hour earlier, and it's quiet in the house, and I get up and I meditate for just a quick 10 minutes, and then I get right to work. And I work for an hour and a half on things that I just need to be really focused on. And then I'll get up and get ready, make my coffee, have breakfast, do all the things I need to do before I come into work. That hour and a half, I have had so much clarity and so much productivity of the things that I needed to do to make the business work better, right? Make me a better leader. And I have found that I actually really cherish that time. My husband will say, what time is it? I'm crawling out of bed. I'll say it's 4:30. Oh, it's so early. And he rolls over and goes back to sleep. And I'm like, great, night night. See you later. I got things to do. And I find that by the end of the day, I'm tired. I'm definitely tired. I've been up a long time, but it's okay. At the end of the day, I'm tired and I know when I'm done and I'm going to go to bed. But I'm finding that I really do love that time in the morning. That's how I'm choosing to show up differently. So these three questions, I want you to really start to think about them. And if you want, go back, listen to this podcast again. Let it inspire you. Write these questions down. The first question is, what is your end goal? Get really clear about that. If you're married, you have a partner, a spouse, get with them. Decide what is your end goal. Figure that out. And then you can work to reverse engineer that goal so that you can start to make that happen and make the little tiny shifts that'll start to make it happen. Tweak your marketing, Get your team dialed in, create those systems, get efficient, make sure your follow ups are there, all the things you need to do to run a good business. The second question is whatever's happening in your business, how is it serving you? What does it make possible for you? How is it going to make you do what you do better? If it's that you don't have enough reviews, you need more reviews, then you're going to get really good at creating a system about how to get reviews, right? You're going to get good at it. And the third question is, how am I going to show up differently moving forward? And I think that's a question we should always be asking every day. How can I show up differently for my patients today? How can I show up differently and walk my talk a little bit better? We all have places where we compromise, right? We may not be always gluten free or we may not always get exercise in. We all have places that we compromise. But how can you show up and just be 1% better than you were the day before? One tiny little percent. Because as you do that, people are watching and they're watching how you respond. They're watching you change. They're watching your behavior. Just like kids watch their parents, right? Your patients are watching you too. So, how are you going to show up differently? Those are the 3 questions that I want you to really think about and consider. And I hope and pray that these will help you kind of get solid in your ability to be inside your own business, your own practice, and be able to create the end goal that you want to have. What do you want? Doesn't matter what somebody else wants. It doesn't matter what I want. It matters what you want and how you want to get there. That's what's most important. So I love you all. Thank you so much for being so faithful and listening every single week. It makes me really happy. I feel like you're just my little safe community that I can share with you and just tell you a little bit more about what's going on in my life. And then hopefully allow that to be able to help you grow, be better as a business owner, as a clinician, as a friend, as a spouse, etc. So we're in this together. We're all here to elevate what we do to raise for lack of a better term, the consciousness or the awareness of what we do and how we can impact people in our community. But it has to start with us. It's not about the shingle that you hang outside your door or your website about your virtual practice. It's not that. It's about who are you being and how are you leading? How are you being inside your business? And how are you stepping up your game, investing in yourself, investing in your own development, your own personal development, investing in your self-care, investing in the systems in your business so that your outcome, the financial outcome, is what you want it to be for your end goal. That's what I want to see have happen for you. It just is my greatest honor to be able to be part of your journey. So take care, friends. And I hope to see you next week on the Clinical Entrepreneur Podcast. Take care. See you then.